Hello. In this video, I wanted to look at one of the more contentious issues around slides, and that's bullet points. Now, I've heard it said that bullets kill people, don't let them kill your presentation. And I have to say, if you know who came up with that phrase, please do let me know, because I've been trying to work out where it came from. It's such a great phrase. It just sums it up. It wasn't me. The problem with bullet points is they are inherently dull. They are a dull way to present any sort of information on a slide. When you see a slide of bullet points come up on a screen, quite frankly, your heart sinks. Now, occasionally, they can be a useful way to present information, particularly a training context. I think when you're in a training room, then they can be useful to just show you, here are the 5 things you need to know about this topic. But if you are going to use bullet points, and certainly if you're keynoting, doing a big formal presentation, I really think you should be avoiding them. But if you are going to use them, some tips on using them for best practice. First of all is the 666 rule of bullet points. Now, this means that it is no more than 6 words per bullet point. Now, a bullet point shouldn't be a complete sentence, because if it is, you're going to end up reading it and the audience will end up reading it. Just pointless. So 6 words maximum, quite frankly, just a word or a very short phrase. Or how about an image as a bullet point? That could be interesting. So no more than 6 words per bullet point. No more than 6 bullet points per page. Do not fill your screen with a dozen bullet points, because they're going to end up really small. The text will be unreadable. And again, that density of text on a slide just looks awful. Remember what I said in the previous video about 1 idea per slide. Suddenly, if you've got a dozen bullet points, you've got a dozen ideas. It's just way too much. Your audience won't process each one individually. And the final 6 of the 666 rule is no more than 6 minutes per slide. If you've had that slide up for more than 6 minutes with all these bullet points on, your audience have read ahead of you. They're no longer listening to you. They're now checking their emails on their phones, quite honestly. One little trick, if you are using 6 bullet points on a slide and each one is less than 6 words, just bring up each bullet as you need it. Appear on click is the transition you're looking for in PowerPoint or Keynote. And it just means that you can bring up that bullet point, talk about that, and then bring up the next one when you're ready. Your audience aren't thinking ahead or reading ahead the whole time. So the 666 rule of bullet points is a really useful adage. So no more than 6 words per bullet point, no more than 6 bullet points per page, and no more than 6 minutes per slide. I'd also say, if you are going to use bullet points on a slide, use them judiciously. Never have more than 2 slides next to each other with bullet points on. You should only ever have 1 slide of bullets, and then you should move on to something else. Maybe a graph, it might be a chart, could be an image, and then later in the presentation, if you have to, come back to another slide of bullet points. If you've been through your 6 bullet points, and then the next slide, suddenly we turn up and start another bullet point at the top of the slide, your audience will just go, oh. It is enough to make your heart sink, as I say, because it's just a dull way of presenting information. There is no such thing as an interesting bullet point slide. If you are creating slides and you open a slide with a bullet point, you are about to create a boring slide. End of story. So a couple of ways you can get around it. First of all, think about using images. Think about how you could use an image to represent this, and you can bring up 5 or 6 images on a slide. Even better, though, as far as I'm concerned, is to split them across numerous slides. So rather than having 1 slide with 6 bullet points on, have 6 slides with 1 point on each. Doesn't need to have a bullet, doesn't need to be numbered. Just bring up that slide that is a prompt to you as the presenter and just tells your audience what we're about to talk on, introduces the topic and speak on it, then move on to the next one. 6 slides with different words or phrases or images on each won't look like bullet points. They'll just look like fresh slides. So actually it keeps it moving. And in particular, because each slide will only be up for a much shorter period than that slide with 6 bullet points would have been, it makes your presentation feel much pacier. It does mean you're going to have more slides in your deck, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. I would rather see 5 slides in a minute, with each one moving through at a pace and just telling me what I need to know about each one, than sit and look at the same slide of 5 bullet points for 5 minutes. I think just 1 phrase or word or image bullet point per slide and build up the deck that way, it just gives, it makes it feel like you're moving through much faster. So Bullet points, avoid them if you possibly can. If you are going to use them, observe the 666 rule. If you are going to use them, never have more than 2 slides of bullet points together. In fact, don't have 2 together at all, just have 1 and then have another one later. And split the bullets across numerous slides so that it feels pacier, you move through it and we're not looking at the same slide for very long. Just some tips to help you to use bullets if you have to. If you really can, I would really try and avoid them. There is no such thing as an interesting bullet point slide. There just isn't. If you disagree, actually, I'd be interested to hear from you. If you can show me an interesting bullet point slide, I would love to see it. Please do drop me an email, steve@stevebustin.com. I would be really interested to see it. Anyway, hope that's been useful. I'll be back with the next issue with more on slides. If you've come to this video via my email newsletter while you're here on YouTube, please do subscribe to my channel. You'll find a button just underneath the video here. Hit the bell button to get notified when new video content comes up. If you found this on YouTube and you'd like to subscribe to my fortnightly newsletter, where you'll get some tips on presenting and a sort of roundup of the best content on the web, you'll find the link to my newsletter sign up in the description below. Thanks for joining me. Hope that's been useful, and I'll see you next time.